here in an undisclosed bat cave. I'm gonna show you all this garage door deal. Basically, buddy hit me up telling me that the garage door wouldn't open, like the motor wouldn't open the door, and then one of the brackets that holds the garage door opener to the wall had pulled away, all that kind of thing. So initial thought, well, the springs broke. So I came over, looked at it, took everything down. It's a Torquemaster, so it's got an internal spring design. Took everything down, slid the spring out. And of course, as soon as I looked at it, the cables on the garage door were loose, had no tension on them. So, all right, well, that's an easy one. It lost tension somehow. There's not many ways that can happen. It's either a broke cable or broke spring. Cables look good, so there we were, broke spring. Took everything down just to verify, make sure, see which one it was, and suggested replacing both of them, because if one broke, the other one's right behind it, even if it's not broke. So I got all that done, got all the numbers and stuff off of the tube. There's a sticker on the end, not sure if it's close enough you can see it, but it's got all the information for the door and the springs and stuff on there. ChatGPT is your friend on this stuff, because you put the numbers in, or you can take a picture of the little label, and it'll pop everything up like, this is what you need. So hopefully, if y'all have the same issue, you have the same type of spring, maybe this will help you out. All right, so let's get started. So we've got the torque tube. We've got our new springs. Comes with everything you need. It's got the plastic sleeve on it. They even were nice and labeled it for us. So this is the left-hand spring. If they're not labeled, little secret, I learned this when I was doing garage doors. Every spring is always marked either black or red. And to tell which one is which, you would think red is right because R and R, right? Absolutely not. They made it difficult. Red is your left spring. See, it's got red marks all over. It's painted red on the spring. This is your left-hand spring. Red is left, black is right. These springs are kind of keyed, if you will. Try not to drop anything. So you can see it's kind of like a oblong teardrop shape. The tube is shaped the same way, so it can only go in one way. So that just slides in there like that. That side's done. It's kind of a pain in a enclosed garage to work with something long like this, especially if you have a smaller garage. It's definitely easier with two people sometimes, but more or less, my buddy offered to help, but I'm more or less just going to show you guys that it is possible to do it with one person. And it's really not that hard. It just makes it a little easier if you do have two people. We're going to go ahead and put the spring up on top of the door where it goes. Get everything mounted. Get the cables and the cable drums mounted onto the spring. And we'll go through everything kind of step by step. Little tutorial just in case, like I said, y'all ever run into this issue, you won't have a problem doing it yourself. Don't worry, if you're not tall like that man, you can get a ladder. Or like I said, if you have help, you got somebody to help you. All right, so these are your cable drums. So this is going to go on the end of the spring. Let's see. And that cable just feeds through the drum. It's kind of dark. I don't know if you can see too well. Feeds through the drum and comes out this side. Makes it easy to adjust your cable length and stuff like that. But this is just going to fit, and this is keyed also. It's a teardrop shape, so it only goes on one way. So slide that on there, and these are labeled too. So if anything ever happens to where you get them mixed up, they come completely off, what have you, they are labeled. Right, and then, see, it's nice to have two people sometimes. There is, on the end of the spring, there's a little channel that sits on top of, or in this bracket, and that's what keeps the spring from moving in and out. So we got this one on. We'll wait on the tensioner. I'm gonna run to the other side, put that drum on, and I'll be right back over. All right, I'm gonna take a second and show you guys what I was doing over there, what took so long. So on these drums, because there's times where you may have to take it apart and get everything set. So I showed you these cables slide in and out. Well, if something happens, broke cable, whatever, drum's still good, we're apart. This cable goes through these drums, and when it's together, they are very dirty. When it's together, you can't see the routing of the cables. So what I'm gonna do, hopefully I can get enough light and y'all are able to see. Let's see, let's do it. Let's do it over this way, maybe. All right, so you got a bearing on one side. This bearing will pull out. You may need to get like a screwdriver or something like that and kind of pry it. Doesn't take a lot of force, just a little bit. Again, they are very dirty. If you're afraid to get dirty, don't do it, or maybe wear gloves. Yeah. All right, so cable's not inside the drum. You're freaking out. You don't know what to do. I can't get it back in. Here's the process. So you'll have a little opening, a little notch where you'll see like the cable will slide in. So what you're going to do, you'll slide this in to that hole. Well, you're going to get there and go, oh, it won't go any further. Well, that's because it's got another hole. It's got to come out of this side. That's why you got to take this bearing out. So you'll feed some cable through. You'll see a hole. Not sure if y'all can see it real well. Right here. Take the other end of the cable, stick it in that hole, and that will push all the way out this side. Then you get the kink out of it. It'll lay in there just like that. You can put your bearing back in. This can be done by hand, obviously. You don't even have to be strong to do it. You don't have to be Batman either. Give yourself a little slack because you've got to go across the mounting brackets. And then it slides on like that. Put it back in there. Another important part you want to remember, you're just pulling the slack out here. You want that cable to lie, there's grooves for a reason. You want that cable to lie in the grooves. If it's not in the grooves, you're going to have issues. The cable will jump the groove. It'll jump to the groove it's not supposed to be in, and you'll lose tension on your door, or a cable will break, or it'll mess your drum up. Bad scenarios, right? Make sure your cable is in the groove. I'm holding this cable to try to keep a little tension on it. And I'm turning the whole tube because right here, you can see there's a little set screw. So what I'm going to do with that, this is a little flathead screwdriver. This will hold your cable in place. You have to tighten these set screws. And it's just plastic, so you don't want to over tighten it. You just want it kind of snug. You know, more than finger tight, but you don't want to like wrench down on it because again, it's plastic. It'll strip those threads out and you'll have bigger problems again. We're not clamping down on it. This is literally just to hold the tube in place and keep the cables in the groove, right? So get my cable back in the groove. I'm just putting just enough tension on this torsion bar to keep, or sorry, torque tube to keep the cable in the groove. And then I'm going to take my vice grips. And again, you don't want to clamp down hard on these because this is a hollow tube. It's thin metal. If you clamp down too hard and bend that tube, it's going to interfere with your spring and it's not going to run right. You're going to interfere with the spring in there when you go to put tension on it. So you're just lightly putting enough pressure on there to hold the cable in place. I'm going to mount this center mount because you can see there's a bow in the spring. It's a 16-foot wide door. There's a bow in the spring because it's a lot of weight inside this tube with the springs and everything else. And again, this is light metal, thin metal. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in place. I'm going to go set the other cable and then I'll be right back. 2 new holes, and you want to keep your spring level as you can get it. You don't want any bends in it because that will cause binding. Those are in there. That's going to be loose because it's literally, this is just a cradle to hold the center of this level. I'll show you guys real quick. So there's little teeth inside of this gear that match up with little grooves on the end of the spring. So we got to get those lined up. And then it should slide right on. We can mount it to the wall. And you know, garages are a lot of dark corners, so shed some light on the situation. There it is. Look at that. All I needed was a little light. All right, that's on the spring. Now I'm going to take my lag bolt, mount it to the wall. I'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we're ready to put tension on this thing. All right, so when you order your new springs, depending on who you order them from, where you order them, it's going to tell you, it's going to come with constructions. Men, you're going to need this one. I know we don't like reading instructions. It's going to tell you how many turns to put on these springs so that your garage door is going to work right, okay? You need this, okay? It goes by door height. So we're looking at a 7-foot door. It's going to have 16 turns. So what we'll do, get this fancy little tool. We're going to take this dial, it pulls out. You're going to bring it around. To where the 0 lines up with that little notch. Again, it's keyed. Everything is. Slides on the door like that. You're going to take your drill, 7/16 socket, and you're going to drill it until the number that lines up with that notch we put the 0 on. You're going to spin it until that number reaches 16. All right, we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, now you can see my vice grips pulled away from the wall. I can release those. We now have tension on our door. So now we're going to check, make sure that we have enough tension on our door. So we've got tension on our door now. We want to make sure that we have enough tension. If when you put tension on your door automatically tries to roll up by itself, you can see that motor's not connected. If it tries to roll up by itself, you have way too much tension on this door. It should be just enough to where you should be able to lightly lift it up, just like this. It shouldn't fly up real fast. Just a little tension, enough to where it holds it up when it's up. You don't want so much that it's hard to pull down. You should feel a little resistance, but not a bunch. And it just glides down. You saw I didn't touch it right there at the end. It kind of glides down by itself. I missed the screw. Hold on. Alright, we're just taking our new pin and run it through our J-arm. Take our cotter pin, stick it through the other side, and bend it. Alright, I am not going to engage the motor yet. First thing I need to do, looks like he needs some tension added to the chain. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. Alright, so see how this chain is loose and floppy? We don't want that. Loose things make noise. You nasty. Stop it. You've got your open force and your closed force. And that's basically the amount of force that this computer inside this motor tells the motor that it's allowed to apply to open and close that door. If it takes more force to open or close the door than what this limit is set at, the door will not open or close, whichever you're trying to do. On this side, you can see this is your down limit, and this is your up limit. I'm not going to mess with the up limit right now. We are going to have to adjust it. The down limit, we need to come up some. So let's start. We'll go 2 full turns because I don't know exactly how far it's going to go. And we need to come back up just a little bit more to make sure that it doesn't put too much force on that door. The up limit is perfect. That's exactly where we want it. I'll explain that a little bit in a second. Let's check our down limit. See if we got that one right. Oop, we got to come down a little bit. I went too far. But we're close enough now. We're not going to force the door past where it wants to go. So we're going to go ahead and re-engage that. Don't use your motor to lock that into place, into the track. Lock your arm and then pick up on your door until it clicks into place. If you try to use the motor, if you do use the motor to engage it like that, where you hit the button and then it comes up and it clicks into place, it's going to jolt everything in the system. Again, could cause damage. We don't want that. Let's do it the right way. So engage your arm, the disengage lock, re-engage it, lift up or pull down on your door, whichever orientation it's in, but use the door itself and manually engage that so you're not jerking around the system. Stop it, I see where you did. It opens, let's close it. Okay, we're not quite far enough on our close limit. So you see the light down under the door? That means critters can get in. We don't want that. We want a good seal. So we need to come down a little more on our closed limit. All right, now, little lesson. Remember I said small increments, and this is why, all right? So we have a good seal at the bottom, right? Perfect, that's awesome. We have just enough pressure to where the arm is putting on the door to where the door's not sticking away from the wall up top. So that's creating a nice seal. Now, see our chain? We're putting too much force on that door. Look how loose that is. We need to bring that up. We got to find the happy medium. Small adjustment. All right, almost there. We still got a little slack in the opener chain. Come up maybe like another 1/8 of a turn. I'm not going all the way up. I'm hitting the button and stopping the door and bringing it back down because we already got that top limit set. We got it right where we need it. We don't need it to come all the way up. We're just setting the bottom limit now, the closed limit. So I can bring it up a foot or two, stop the door, push it back down, and that's all we're doing. We're just checking that bottom limit, fine tuning it right now. Perfect. Look at that, guys. It's beautiful. No gap at the bottom. Everything's sealed good up there. We've got tension on the top of the door. There's no gap, no air critters getting through there. And our chain has a slight, very, very slight droop to it, which all of them are going to do that because you are putting force, down force on that door to push it down against the concrete and then up against the wall because you want that good seal all the way around. Like I said, you want that. You're gonna see that little droop, but it should not be significant like it was. So you kind of got just a little bit. It's drooping like basically right at the bottom of that bar. All right, guys. We have a working garage door that was replacing the springs on one of these Wayne Dalton Torquemasters. Super simple. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll try to walk you through it, help you out if I can. As always, stay real, stay wild. I'll catch you in the next one.